All right, I'm going to dispel some myths about margarine for you people. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And I'm going to put this forward right in the front so I'll know real quick based on responses who just read the title and didn't listen to the first 30 seconds of the video. I am against eating margarine, even modern margarine. I think it's trash. So I think butter is trash also. So let me just get that out of the way. I am not advocating you eat it. Now, that being said, by that same token, all the major concerns about the horrific health impact of margarine do not exist anymore. Okay, this is 2024. And I'm only going to discuss the US because I can't make individual videos on the history and laws of every single country on earth. I live in the US. The majority of my followers on all my platforms are in the US, UK being number 2. I don't know their laws. All right. But I know that in the US, under the current laws, it is completely illegal to put any trans fats in food, including old school margarine. The old school margarine cannot legally be sold to humans anymore. It is illegal to sell it as food. All right. So therefore, there are no trans fats in margarine. It really is zero. So the modern stuff they're calling margarine is not the same substance that we called margarine 10 or 20 years ago. Okay, it is not chemically by even remotely close. It is not the same substance. People seem to be unaware of this in these discussions. So let me give you guys a little bit of a history there. We had a bunch of data decades ago showing problems with saturated fat, and butter actually is always done really poorly in studies, by the way. And I'm not even against all saturated fats. Okay, I want to be clear. I'm actually very pro dairy, by the way. I actually hold a very pro milk, very pro yogurt viewpoint for the unaware. I think they're phenomenal foods. I consume dairy of that type pretty much 7 days a week personally, every single day. All right, I think most people know this. Butter is a garbage refined version of it. Okay, it's been stripped of all the, like if I had to pick between butter and skim milk with all the cream removed, I would take skim milk or a fat-free yogurt any day. Now, I personally oftentimes do the full fat yogurts. Sometimes I do a lot of whole milk. But if I had to pick, it's objectively better. Okay, why? Because why do we consume all that dairy? Anybody know? The amazing protein, calcium, magnesium, potassium content, the B12 content. Okay? Absolutely a superfood. Absolutely a superfood, particularly for body composition and athletes. Full stop. All right. When you make butter, you strip all of those things out. All the reasons we consume milk, all the list of amazing stuff in milk that makes it a superfood isn't in the cream. So when you skim the cream off or separate it out, you lose all the benefits. You lose every single last benefit of consuming that milk. Then butter, they emulsify it and churn it, which actually changes it further. So if you look at data on blood work between just the cream versus butter, there's a difference in the lipid profiles in people who consume them. Right? You're refining the fat. You're making it faster absorbing through the emulsification process. You're pre-digesting it. All right. Butter does really bad, by the way, on studies. Like when you compare it even to milk, like people who consume the same amount of butter, large amount of butter versus whole milk every day, their blood work does not look the same. In the research. Like if you look at just milk studies, no one would think milk is unhealthy. Okay, so we need to be clear. Again, if you look at studies of people who consume even whole milk, no person would conclude it's unhealthy. If you look at the studies comparing it to butter, you would assume butter is a trash junk food made in a lab. All right, it's pretty evident. All right, so margarine was invented. People said, well, what are we going to do? Well, we know the butter is bad. So we know these polyunsaturated fats don't do that, but we can't get it to get the consistency of butter. People love their butter. So let's force a bunch of hydrogen into it and take this polyunsaturated fat and see if we can artificially saturate it, and maybe it won't have the same negative effects, and then it will be butter. It'll look just like butter. This was not a wise idea. So then we've artificially saturated a fat. That's what we can call a trans fat. Okay? It turned out to be even worse than butter. They call it heart healthy for decades, but because you're like, well, it doesn't have the cholesterol. It turned out it's the type, it was the saturated fat content without the cardioprotective stuff that's in milk. It made butter a problem. It wasn't the cholesterol. Dietary cholesterol doesn't affect us like that. But saturated fats in the wrong environment can. So what happened? They made this stuff. Dietitians screamed for decades to get trans fats illegal in the U.S. It finally happened, and the FDA spun their wheels on it for a few years, and then they finally enforced it. So we need to be clear at this point. The margarine on the shelf now is objectively healthier than butter. The old school margarine was objectively worse. Now, when I say objectively healthier than butter, it's still trash. Okay. Does that make sense? It's just not as much of trash as butter is. So I'm not suggesting that you eat it. What I'm suggesting is you people quit adding refined fats to your damn food. Quit being a disgusting, revolting slob who treats your body like a trash dumpster. Okay? Let me state that again. Stop being a revolting, disgusting slob who treats their body like a trash dumpster by loading it full of refined fats. It's not that difficult, people. If you want some fat, go eat a steak or an avocado. You don't need to pour garbage with all the nutrients stripped out into your food to make it taste good, because you need something fatty for your palate. Okay? I love a steak, egg, and avocado as a meal. Great stuff, right? But that's whole foods. Stop eating this garbage. Stop eating it. But let's come back to the other point. The trans fat argument for margarine does not exist in the United States anymore. You cannot make that claim without looking like an idiot. You just can't. It's an uneducated position. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.